The man who survived 2 atomic bombs, walked through the fire of apocalypse at Wysand, lived to tell the world its secrets. Imagine surviving the deadliest weapon mankind ever created, not once but twice, in 2 different cities, just days apart. One man did, and history almost forgot him. His story isn't just about luck, it's about fate, resilience, and a moment where human endurance defied annihilation. It was the 6th of August, 1945, and Tsutomu Yamaguchi was on a business trip in Hiroshima. The 29-year-old engineer from Nagasaki was finishing a 3-month assignment with Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. That morning, he walked toward the shipyard, briefcase in hand, under a perfect blue sky. The world still felt normal until he heard the roar above. A B-29 bomber cut across the clouds. Seconds later, the sky turned white, followed by a shockwave that ripped the air apart. Tsutomu was thrown into a nearby irrigation ditch. The city he'd just walked through, gone in an instant. What he didn't know was, this was only the beginning. Tsutomu recalled seeing a great flash in the sky, a white light so blinding it erased shadows. The next instant, his body was hurled into the air. His ears rang, dust choked his lungs. When he opened his eyes, the city was a blazing inferno. His arms were severely burned, face bloodied, eardrums ruptured. Yet somehow, he was still alive. He crawled through wreckage, stepping over bodies and collapsed homes. Everything was aflame. The atomic blast had vaporized thousands in seconds. But Tsutomu's only thought, I need to get home. Even in agony, the will to survive pushed him forward. He had no idea his journey was only halfway done. Barely able to stand, Tsutomu wandered through the smoldering city. Fires raged around him. People screamed for water, and the air was thick with ash and screams. He eventually stumbled into a bomb shelter where 2 co-workers had also survived. For the next night, they huddled in pain, surrounded by chaos. The next morning, despite his injuries, Tsutomu began a 3-day journey back to Nagasaki, his hometown, by foot and train. His skin was blistered, his hearing was gone. But something inside him urged him forward. He had to warn his family. He had to tell people what had happened, but Nagasaki was not safe either. On the 8th of August, Tsutomu arrived in Nagasaki. His body was failing, but he still made it to a hospital. Bandaged and weak, he told doctors and city officials, an unimaginable bomb destroyed Hiroshima. We must evacuate. But no one listened. Even his co-workers thought he was hallucinating. The Japanese government hadn't announced the true scale of the Hiroshima bombing. That night, he reunited with his wife and baby son. Despite his trauma, he was home. He thought maybe, just maybe, lightning wouldn't strike twice. But the clock was ticking, and the second bomb was already on its way. The next morning, the 9th of August, 1945, Tsutomu was explaining to his boss how Hiroshima had been destroyed. Suddenly, the room lit up. Another blinding white flash. Tsutomu hit the floor just as the office windows exploded. It was the second atomic bomb dropped on Nagasaki. Somehow, again, he was alive. Again, buildings were pulverized. Again, the city was turned into a hellscape. Tsutomu stumbled home through a city he barely recognized. Fires raged. Bodies lined the streets. But somehow, his house just 1 mile from ground zero was still standing. And inside, his wife and son, unharmed. To survive 1 atomic bomb is nearly impossible. To survive 2, in both Hiroshima and Nagasaki, is statistically unthinkable. Tsutomu Yamaguchi became the only officially recognized double hibakusha survivor of both atomic bombings. His body was scorched, his hearing never fully recovered, and the trauma stayed with him for life. But even in pain, he never gave in to hate. What saved him? Timing? Instinct? Random chance? Or was it something deeper? Tsutomu didn't consider himself a hero. He simply said, "I was lucky." But perhaps it was more than luck. Perhaps it was a story meant to be told. In the weeks that followed, Tsutomu's body swelled with radiation sickness. His hair fell out. Fever took over. He vomited constantly. Hospitals were overwhelmed. Doctors didn't know how to treat something they'd never seen before. Around him, thousands died slowly from the invisible poison in their veins. Tsutomu lay in silence, wondering if each breath would be his last. And yet, he survived. But outside his hospital bed, Japan surrendered. The world was forever changed. And for a while, his story, like so many others, was swallowed by the silence. The world moved on. But Tsutomu never forgot. After months of recovery, Tsutomu returned to work at Mitsubishi. His body bore permanent scars, but his mind focused on rebuilding. He raised his family in Nagasaki, surrounded by memories of fire and death. But like many hibakusha, he faced stigma. People feared radiation was contagious. Survivors were often shunned, pitied, or ignored. Tsutomu didn't speak publicly about his ordeal for years. Not because he was ashamed, but because no one asked. Japan was trying to heal, but some wounds were too deep to hide, and some stories too powerful to forget. For decades, Tsutomu kept his story quiet. His children grew up never fully knowing what he endured. The world remembered Hiroshima and Nagasaki in numbers: 140,000 dead here, 74,000 there. But not the faces, not the lives. Tsutomu was one of those quiet faces. A man who went to work one morning and witnessed the end of the world twice. What does it do to a soul, seeing that kind of light? Feeling your body burned from the inside, your city erased? He didn't seek fame or sympathy. He lived modestly, but the truth inside him, it waited. It wasn't until the 2000s, when Tsutomu was in his 80s, that he began to speak out. As the last survivors aged, the world began listening. He told his story not to relive pain, but to warn. He spoke of the cruelty of nuclear weapons, not in theory but from lived experience. In interviews and documentaries, he shared what it felt like to watch a city vanish, to walk through ashes, to fear light itself. His voice was soft, calm, but every word landed like thunder. He wasn't angry, he was resolute. His message, never again. In 2009, just a year before his death, Tsutomu Yamaguchi was officially recognized by the Japanese government as the only known person to survive both atomic bombings. He was already 93. His story, buried in whispers for decades, was finally acknowledged. It wasn't about honors or medals. It was about truth being heard. Tsutomu said he didn't want others to relive what he saw. The only people who should experience war, he said, are those who start it. A simple man, a terrifying journey, and a message that history almost forgot to pass on. Tsutomu's daughter recalled her father as gentle and quiet, but also fiercely protective. He didn't want to dwell on the past, but the scars shaped their home. His children didn't fully understand what the word hibakusha meant until later in life. When they did, it felt surreal. 2 bombs, 2 cities, 1 man. They realized their lives existed only because Tsutomu had survived twice. That fragile thread of survival became their inheritance and their mission. His daughter began speaking publicly on his behalf, carrying the message forward as her father's voice grew weak. Until his final days, Tsutomu remained committed to peace. He believed in humanity's potential, but only if we learned from the past. He didn't dwell on hatred, and he never blamed. Instead, he became a quiet activist, appearing at events, writing letters, urging world leaders to eliminate nuclear weapons. His message was simple: war is suffering, not strategy. Destruction is not power, it's failure. He stood as living proof of what nuclear fire does to the innocent, a witness, a survivor, and a warning, not in anger, but in love for future generations. The atomic bomb was hailed as a triumph of science, but for survivors like Tsutomu, it was a symbol of human hubris. He had witnessed its full horror, not in theory or laboratory, but in fire and blood. The split atom promised victory, but what it delivered was silence, death, dust. "No one who has seen it," he once said, "can ever believe it should be used again." His life became a bridge between invention and consequence, between history and hope. He wasn't a scientist. He was the counterweight to progress, and that's a balance we still struggle to hold. Tsutomu often spoke of the light, the blinding flash that turned day into death. Survivors called it picadon, the flashbang. That instant of white was seared into his memory more than any explosion or fire. It wasn't just brightness, it was judgment. One flash, then a city gone. That memory haunted him for life. He once said, "When I close my eyes, I still see that light." Scientists measured its intensity. Artists tried to paint it. But only witnesses like Tsutomu truly understood it, not as a concept, but as a moment when reality cracked open. Tsutomu lived with a question no one could answer. Why did I survive? All around him, friends, co-workers, neighbors were vaporized or crushed. He lost many in both cities. The weight of that reality followed him silently. He never saw himself as special, just alive. He often questioned whether fate spared him for a reason, or if he was just a bystander in something too large to grasp. Survivor's guilt is an invisible wound, and for Tsutomu, it never faded. But instead of being crushed by it, he turned it into a mission to carry their memory forward. As the decades passed, Tsutomu's story reached beyond Japan. He was featured in documentaries, quoted in books, even interviewed by foreign journalists. He became a symbol of human resilience, but also a stark reminder of the price of war. Western media dubbed him the man who survived 2 bombs, yet he resisted being sensationalized. His message wasn't about survival, it was about prevention. He warned that no nation is immune to devastation, and no war ends with winners when nuclear fire is involved. The world finally began to listen. But was it listening enough? In his final years, Tsutomu battled stomach cancer, believed to be linked to his radiation exposure. Yet he remained composed, kind, even humorous. He spoke gently, moved slowly, and carried a lifetime of fire behind soft eyes. In 2010, at age 93, he passed away. Japan mourned. Historians paused. A generation began to realize the value of first-hand truth. The last man to see 2 cities vanish had finally gone quiet. But what he left behind was louder than ever. His life became a living time capsule, a story the future couldn't afford to ignore. Tsutomu was never just a bomb survivor. He was a father, engineer, poet, and philosopher. He loved music. He laughed with his grandchildren. He gardened. He lived. And that's the most extraordinary part, because the bomb tried to erase not just bodies but life itself. Tsutomu's defiance wasn't loud. It was in every breath he took afterward, in every flower he planted. Every moment he chose peace over bitterness. The bombs made him famous, but his humanity made him unforgettable. He didn't just endure, he grew. And in that, he showed the world what survival truly means. Tsutomu's journey isn't just a war story. It's a warning carved into human memory. He turned unimaginable pain into a quiet revolution. He never demanded revenge. He asked for awareness. His life asks us, what kind of world are we building? One that honors survival or invites destruction? The light that burned Hiroshima and Nagasaki was man-made. But so is the light we can carry forward of knowledge, empathy, and action. Tsutomu passed through hell and came back, not with hate but with a plea. Never let this happen again. Anywhere. to anyone. That's his legacy, and now it's ours. One man, two cities, two atomic bombs, and a story that almost slipped through time. Tsutomu Yamaguchi didn't seek fame, but his survival and his voice became a mirror to our greatest invention and our deepest regret. History often shouts about war and victory, but sometimes the quietest voices hold the loudest truths. If this story moved you, share it. Let someone else hear the name, Tsutomu Yamaguchi. Because remembering him isn't just honoring a man, it's choosing to face the past, so we don't repeat it. That light, it's still with us. But what we do with it, that's up to us.